Happy Wednesday, everybody. I sure hope that you had a wonderful 4th of July celebration yesterday if you live in the United States. And tonight we will be using Regal Reindeer. We're going to focus on a little bit of Christmas in July this month. Take a look at some products that we have in the annual catalog. And let's go ahead and see who's on. Give everybody a couple of minutes before we get started. See if Facebook will cooperate and I can find myself here. There we go. All right. Hello, Laura. Hello, Jennifer. And that's, yep. Go ahead and say hello when you jump on. And we will get started here in just a minute or so. I've got some Stampin' Up! Promotions that are starting at 12:01 a.m. Mountain Time tonight. If you're here in the Pacific Northwest, where I am, that means that our promotions start at 11:01 p.m. tonight. So I will be up ordering. We've got some online exclusives that are being released that I'm very excited to get. And then we'll be able to earn some things. Hello, Lynette. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. You guys, I am going to have to back out of Facebook because, not off the video, hang on, I'm going to have to shut out Facebook from my laptop because it keeps going to a fully green screen and I can't see what's there. So let's get that fixed if we can. All right. So let's go ahead and talk a few housekeeping things. Bonus Days begins at 12:01 a.m. on July 6th, Mountain Time. 11:01 p.m. Pacific Time, and that will run from July 6th through the 31st. Now what that means is that you can shop and earn a $5 coupon for every $50 in the US that you spend between the 6th of July and the 31st of July. There's no limit to how many coupons you can earn. You must have a valid email address when you complete your purchase because that's how Stampin' Up! Is going to send you your coupon code. Okay, so Stampin' Up! Will email you those coupon codes or codes because if you spend 50, you get one code. If you spend 100, you get 2 codes, 150, 3 codes, so on and so forth. And that's all month long with no limit. Then in August, between the 1st and the 31st, you will be able to redeem those coupons, and there's no limit to the amount of coupons that you can redeem either. So let's say you spend $50 and you have $50 in coupon codes, which would be 10 coupon codes. You would get your order for free. You can't redeem more codes than you have merchandise in your cart. So let's say you have 5 codes, which would be $25, and you're spending $24.95. You're not going to be allowed to use one of those codes because you don't meet the requirement for that. I hope that makes sense. Okay, hello Tracy. So remember that when you're shopping this month, for every $50 that you spend, you'll get a $5 coupon code to redeem in August. Also beginning tonight, 11:01 p.m. Pacific Time or 12:01 a.m. Mountain Time, For 48 hours only, July 6th and July 7th, you can get up to 50% off on past Paper Pumpkin kits, refills, and add-ons. The only caveat there is that you must be a current Paper Pumpkin subscriber in order to participate. Okay, so there's that. And then also starting tonight are the brand new online exclusives. Again, that's at 11:01 p.m. Pacific time or 12:01 a.m. Mountain time. And these are some pre-order items that we are shown. The horse and sleigh stamp set, horse and sleigh dies, the one horse open sleigh designer series paper. We will be using that paper this evening. And then the Timeless Charm bundle. Now we also know that there is a Trucking Along bundle going to be released, and there is another stamp set, and I don't remember what it's called. That will be released as well. Stampin' Up! Has not actually shown those to us, although I did get a sneak peek today. So, but we don't know if that's the full amount. I did send flyers out to my email customers, so be sure to check that. And if you want to know the full selection, I have in your email, I gave you the direct link to the online exclusives. I also included this flyer, and if you scan this QR code, it will take you directly there and show you the full selection. All right. I think that's all I have. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got the Regal Reindeer stamp set. You will find this in the annual catalog. And then the coordinating reindeer dies. Now this die set has 18 dies. The dies that are on this particular magnetic card are only a portion because I've taken the other ones off that we'll be using for our projects. Okay? So let's go ahead, pull out our first card. And this is a fun fold card that we're going to do. And we are also using the 3D and Basics, the 3D Basics embossing folder, one of those. It's a set of 3. They're also in the online exclusive. So if you haven't already picked up this pack of 3D Basics embossing folders, I highly recommend it. I love this set, and I hope they don't take it away for a very long time. We're going to be using this star pattern tonight. And the one horse open sleigh paper, we're going to be using this tonight. I'm going to show you how to make full use of a scenery paper in one card, a 6x6, and I'm just going to do a quick flip of this paper because I have shown it to you in the past. We did use it for the Hey Chuck Rooster cards that we made, so you have seen it. It's a very versatile set of paper with the snowy scenes on one side and then these awesome backgrounds on the back side. I really think these can go all year long. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to set this aside. I'll stuff that back in there later. Okay, so I've got some cheat sheets because this is a fun fold card, and actually I guess I've already scored, so we're good. But I didn't cut the paper because I wanted to show you how to cut the paper. So we're going to be using this sheet of the one horse open sleigh. I've got a piece of pebbled path cardstock, and this is your basic A2 card size, 5.5 by 8.5. Now I have scored this at 1.5 and 4.25. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold this at the 4.25 mark. And of course I piled everything right on top of my embossing, or my bone folder. So we've got that, and then I'm going to take the 1.5 inch fold and I'm going to fold this backwards in the other direction. Okay. So this is what we have. We have a Z fold card. Okay. Then I've taken a piece of Pool Party cardstock, and this piece is cut at 2.5 by 5 1/4, and I embossed it with the 3D Basics embossing folder. Okay, so we've got this piece. I've done the stamping. I cheated because there's a lot of coloring. So I stamped and colored my images just to save us some time. I will show you a little bit of how I did that. But I've got from the Regal Reindeer, I've got both reindeer. And then I've got the little girl holding the apple. So we'll have those two pieces. I also have a piece of basic white. And this is 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, and then we have our piece of DSP. So we are going to cut this DSP, and we're going to cut this at, so first of all, this is a one-way pattern, so I'm going to turn this the way I want the pattern to go up and down to the side, and I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4. So depending on whether I want more at the top or more at the bottom, I'm going to cut that off. And actually for me, I want more of this. I'm going to cut off the top. So I'm going to put the bottom at the 5 1/4 mark, and I'm going to cut that off. Okay, now this will fit my card because it's 5 1/4. Then I'm going to put my print at the top, and I'm going to cut this 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut it at 2 3/4. And then at 1 1/4. And that will leave me a 2-inch strip of paper. Okay. And I'm going to keep these in the correct order so that my scene will look correct. Okay, it will look like it's in the right orientation. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to add this piece of Pool Party. I'm going to close my card, and I'm going to add this piece of Pool Party to my card base here. Okay, it doesn't matter to me that this was a scrap I had in my scraps, and it doesn't matter to me that I have a little bit here. Now, if that matters to you, you could cut your paper at 2.5 by 5 1/4, and that would cover the full piece. But I was using up some scraps, and it really doesn't matter because that's not the focus of our card. Okay. And by the way, I'm casing the Judy Clock. She made this card, not exactly like this, but this is where I got the fun fold with this DSP. She used the One Horse Open Sleigh bundle, which will be available to customers tonight at midnight Mountain Time. So I've got that on. Now I'm going to take my piece of Designer Series paper here, and I'm going to add this to my front, and I'm going to leave myself an even border so that this, when it's closed, when it sits like this, everything is, I've got a good even border around all 4 sides. The important thing here to note is that I don't want to put any adhesive on the back side of my paper here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of look at that. It's centered. So on the paper, I'm not going to go past the halfway mark. In fact, I'm going to stay a little bit right of that halfway mark. And I'm going to put some glue on there. And I'm going to center this up and try to get an even gray border all the way around here. And I'm going to check to make sure I didn't have any glue ooze out there. And then this is going to be the front of our card. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this up. All right. I'm going to lay this down just like this. And then I'm going to center this right in here. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of this paper. And for that, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal and my silicone mat. Okay. So remember, while it's laying flat open, there are some great deals coming. I'm very excited for the month of July. Actually, the next 2 days. If you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, wow. And if you're not, go ahead and subscribe today. In fact, you could do a prepaid Paper Pumpkin, which would count toward your bonus days. Redeem that coupon right away because you get an email right away, and then you could order those sale items. Okay, so I've got that with just a little bit of a break there. And then I'm going to go ahead while this is open, and I'm going to add this piece right inside to the left of the inside of my card here. Just like so. Okay. All right, and then I've got my basic white. But before I put this in, I'm going to stamp my sentiment, which says, wishing you a wonderful season filled with all the good things that warm your heart and lift your spirit. And I'm going to use some Mossy Meadow because that's one of the colors in my Designer Series paper. And I'm just going to add this up here. And I'm doing this now because if I mess it up, I can flip that cardstock over and try again. Okay, so we've got that. We'll let that dry for just a second so it doesn't smear. This is one of the darker colors. And they do, if you don't give it a second to dry, you can smear them. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to add this, my Stampin' Seal, to the inside of my card. And I'm just going to leave myself a nice even border again. Okay. And there is the mechanics of our Fun Fold card. So this is what it looks like. And then when you open it, you have this wonderful scene. That's a really good way to use a 6x6 or even your 12x12 if you have a scene. You can cut it down to a 6x6 size. That gives you a really good scenery shot. Okay, so let's go ahead and decorate this up. So let's see. Apparently I didn't cut my oval. Darn it. Or what did I, yeah, I didn't cut my oval. Okay, so we're going to have to do that. Let's grab a little bit of white. And we'll do a little bit of stamping, and I'll show you how I colored one of the reindeer. So let's get this, bigger reindeer here. And then let's stamp a piece of, let's stamp the Merry Christmas in Mossy Meadow here. So we're going to stamp our reindeer in Pebbled Path on some basic white. Like so. And then I would also stamp the girl and the other reindeer. And then I'm going to use Mossy Meadow to stamp that Merry Christmas. Okay, so we've got that. And let's move those out of the way before I get ink everywhere. Okay, set that aside. Oh, you know, I didn't stamp my little bunny rabbit either, and I need that in Pebbled Path. Let's stamp him right here. Okay, now let's get our Stampin' blends. Markers, and I've got the Real Reds. I used Moody Mauve and Light Bubble Bath for the little girl for her scarf and her leggings or tights. And then we're going to use Light and Dark Pecan Pie. We're going to use this Real Red Stampin' Right marker. Going to use Light Pebbled Path, the Gray Granite combo, the Light Old Olive and Dark Lemon Lime Twist, and then we'll use some Light SU 900, and the petal pink goes, light petal pink goes in the ear of the reindeer. So let's start there. We're just going to put just a little bit of petal pink in that ear and a little bit of petal pink in the bunny's ear. All right. I'm going to take a little bit of the dark gray granite, and I'm just going to color in a few spots on this bunny, and I'm not really worried about too much. Just wanted to put a little bit in, and then I'm going to take my color lifter and I'm just going to blend that out. Okay, and I need just a tiny bit of petal pink on the bunny's nose here, right there. All right, so we're done with that. Now let's, for the horns on my reindeer, I used the Dark Pecan Pie, and what I did was I took the brush tip and I just kind of brushed it very lightly in the artist lines that are on his horns. Okay, or I guess I should say her, because my understanding is that only the female reindeer have horns. So then I'm going to take and fill the rest of my horns in with the Light Pecan Pie. Not exactly by dropping my marker down. Okay. These are very thin. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to take our Stampin' Right marker, and I'm going to take the brush tip because I don't have the new markers, or I would use the bullet tip. And I'm going to color that, and I'm going to color just along the edge here of the harness. Okay, and between the bells with this marker. Then I'm going to switch to the Stampin' Blends, And I'm going to use the dark real red on the blanket. Oh, and I'm going to go back to the real red Stampin' Right because I forgot. I need to get in here between the bells and put just a little bit of red in there. Okay. So I use the Stampin' Right markers in the really small areas here because I have better control. Okay. And then I'm going to take the dark Stampin' Blend again, and on these artist lines on the blanket here, I'm just going to put a little bit of dark and then blend that all in with the real red. Okay, and I should have something down behind that, and I don't. So let's grab a piece of paper here. All right, so now I'm going to take my light gray granite because I wanted my bells to be silver. And I'm going to color those spots in. Okay. And then I'm going to finish coloring this in these little spaces. You could use the Stampin' Right here as well. Okay. Now we're going to take our light Old Olive, and I'm going to go right along the edge of the outline here. And then I'm going to fill in that center with the lemon lime twist. All right, and I forgot with the dark, I want to color the dark real red. I want to color the tassels here. Okay. For my reindeer, I started with the light pebbled path. And I'm so glad you like that fun fold. I really liked it when I saw it. I'm going to take some light pebbled path here. And I'm going to go along the top and in the artist lines of my reindeer here. Okay. And then I'm going to go back with the dark gray granite. I'm going to go around the eye and back into that darker pebbled path. I'm just going to blend those together. And then I'm going to take the light gray granite and I'm going to go back and finish coloring that in. I'm going to go over the whole area. That will give me those light and dark shades. Okay. And then I'm going to repeat that on the rest of my deer. So I'm going to go over the artist lines here. And along the very back. And here. We've got this here. And then I'm going to go back with my dark gray granite. I'm going to blend those down a bit. When I looked up reindeer on Google, they were a little bit darker at the top, had some white. Okay. A hard time holding on to those today. And then I'm going to finish that off with the light gray granite. It gives my reindeer some depth and texture. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to take my light gray granite and I'm going to color in the little bell up here. And then I'm going to cut these out. And of course, I would stamp and color my other reindeer and the little girl. Let me grab the all that dies. So I need that for my sentiment, so I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this down so I can put it in my mini. Stamp and cut and emboss. Right. I don't really need it that big, so let's just save that paper. Got this. So we need to grab our dies. And I did not. We've got this one. So I'm going to put this on and tape it down. And it will just fit. Okay. And because I forgot to cut my bunny, I'll go ahead and grab my bunny die. I'm not going to worry about cutting out the reindeer because I've already cut him out. So we'll just take those. We'll grab the mini cut and emboss here, the boho blue. As far as I know, this is still available for customers. And this will earn you a $5 bonus code. Of course, your bonus earnings are before tax and shipping if you live in a state where there's tax. We don't here in Oregon, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so now I've got the pieces that I need to put this card together. And this one is from the All That dies. And I love the edging that's on here, the embossing. Okay. So we've got our bunny. And we're going to go ahead and put these on the magnet sheet so I don't lose those. Okay, let's bring back in the card. I'm going to give this a good crisp fold here. Now what I did was I took the grazing reindeer and I'm going to pop him up on some dimensionals. And I want a mini for his horns, or his antlers. And a mini down here for the feet. And then I'm going to take my extra edge pieces here, and I'm going to cut a thin slice for a leg here. And another thin slice of that edge piece here. I love using up all of the dimensionals. Okay. So we're going to take this reindeer and I'm going to set him right here. So it looks like he's grazing, or in this case, saying hello to the little bunny rabbit friend that we're going to set right here. Okay, so we've got that, and then we're going to open this up, and I'm going to put my little girl in here. And I'm not going to pop her up because this is the inside of the card and I don't want it to get too crazy thick. So I'm going to take my silicone sheet here. I'm just going to put down some Stampin' Seal. I'm going to set her in here. Like so. Maybe about here. Let's check that out. And then we're going to put our other reindeer over here so it looks like she's going to give him an apple. And again, we're just going to use some Stampin' Seal here. Okay. Put him up about right here, and I need to make sure that I stay to the right of the fold so that when my card folds it doesn't bend him. Okay, so when I fold it now I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so now I'm going to open this back up, and this Merry Christmas I'm going to put a dimensional here and here, only on the left hand side of the greeting on the back, or the right hand side of the greeting on the back, excuse me. And then I'm going to place this up here, making sure that my dimensionals do not go beyond the edge of my fold. Okay. So we've got that. Now let's go ahead and grab an embellishment. Yes. We've got some white sequins here. So let's grab those. And my Take Your Pick tool. Actually, I think these might be silver, but I'm going to just want to put them here, looking kind of like some little snowflakes, maybe. Give it just a bit of some bling. Okay. And there is our fun fold card. Using our scenery, thanks to Judy Glock, or Clock. It's K-L-O-C-K. All right, so that's the front, the inside, and then for the envelope, I took the tree image and I stamped that in Mossy Meadow, and then there's some snowflake images. I stamped those in Pool Party, and on the flap, then I stuck a bunny, just to give us a really nice finished card. Okay, so there's our first project for tonight. Hope you like that, and I hope you like that fold. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you found that inspirational. Thanks everybody for those kind words. Okay. So the next card, let's see, I don't think, well, we're going to color again, and basically I colored the same as I did before, using the same color scheme. So let's grab our next card. Oh, actually our next card doesn't have a bunch of coloring. Sorry, psych, forget that. Our next card features mostly the dies. I wanted to show you the versatility of these dies and how you can take that and not make it look reindeerish really at all. Okay, so for this card, we've got the standard A2, 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4, and I have embossed the entire front with that same 3D Basics embossing folder. I kind of thought it looked more like snowflakes. I mean, it can be stars, it can be snowflakes. And then we've got a piece of, now believe it or not, this is the Masterfully Made Designer Series paper. Let me grab that. Got this little paper chart here that shows you. So what I've done is I've taken from Masterfully Made this piece of Designer Series paper that has the flowers on the background. I thought it looked kind of Christmassy, or that we could make it look kind of Christmassy. So this piece of Designer Series paper is 3 by 3.5 inches. I've got a piece of Pool Party that is 1 3/4 by 4 1/4. And this card is actually going to be in landscape. So I'm going to place this 3 by 3.5 here. I've got some Pool Party to put here. And then I've got a 1 inch by 5 inch piece of cherry cobbler I'll put here. And we can go ahead and put those down right now. So let's do that. And I'm going to use liquid glue on my Designer Series paper because I embossed the front of my card. Okay. And I was inspired for this design layout by Marissa Alvarez of the Kitchen Table Stamper. I saw a picture with this kind of a layout, and then I made my own dimensions for these. So I'm going to go ahead and add the Pool Party piece on here. I'm going to put that just a little bit above center, centering side to side and just a little bit above the center, up and down. And then I'm going to add my cherry cobbler piece, and I'm going to stick this in the center of the Pool Party. And that is our basic card layout, okay? So now let's go ahead and do all of our other layers. So now we need a circle, and this is from the Stylish Shapes. And I believe this one is the, well, let me tell you the dimensions. This is the 2.5 inch circle. So I've got that. Then we're going to take a piece of basic white. Okay, so I've got a square that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And basically what I did was I took a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. Okay, 4 1/4 by 5 3/4 by 5.5, and on the 5.5 inch side I cut it in half so that I got the 2 3/4, and that gave me then I cut that piece at 2 3/4 to get my square, and then that left me with a little piece of basic white. And with that little piece of basic white that was left, I took the die from the Regal Reindeers for the snow die, and there are 2 snow dies. The important thing to note about the 2 different snow dies, this particular die only cuts the top edge, okay? So wherever you place it, you can determine the depth that you want. Okay, I hope that makes sense. The other snow die in this bundle is this smaller snow die, but when you cut this, it has a cutting edge all the way around. Okay, so that's why I used the larger snow bank. The small one would have worked, except that I could not determine the depth that I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece of basic white, and before I do that, I'm going to ink blend my, where was my scratch paper? I'll just use the back. Okay, I'm going to take with some Pool Party ink, and I'm going to ink blend a little bit of the background. So I'm going to take my blending brush. Let me get these out of the way. Okay, I'm going to take my blending brush, and I'm going to start off and at the top, and I'm going to work my way down. I do not want a ton of color. And remember, I'm gluing my white to the bottom, so I don't need to really worry about that bottom section. Okay, so that's plenty of color. So now I'm going to take and glue this to my piece here. And I'm going to be generous with my adhesive, and you will see why in just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and I'm going to add it to the bottom of my square. So now it looks like I have a snowbank here. Okay. The next step for this is I'm going to take the decorative circle punch that's in the annual catalog, and I'm going to slide this into my punch. And I'm going to determine how much of a snowbank I want there. I don't want a ton. I might want to go just a little bit further down. Just got to make sure that I don't go too far and not punch the top. Okay, so I've got this. Now, because I'm punching the bottom with 2 layers of cardstock, I'm going to actually give this a good pressure. Okay, so now I have this circle that has a snowbank at the bottom. Now, trust me, this is the easiest way to do it, because I did it, the way I first did it was to punch my decorative circle, then cut my white cardstock, and then glue it on top, and then flip it over and try to make those edges. And while it works, it doesn't look quite as nice as the fully punched image. Okay, so let's get our snow and the Pool Party ribbon, or Pool Party ink. Goodness gracious. And we'll give that tap. And then I'm just gonna stamp off and stamp on, second generation stamping. And rotating my stamp. Okay. Just to make it look like it's snowing. Okay, now comes all the die cutting. Okay, so I've done a lot of that in advance, so you don't have to watch me. So you will need to scrap a pretty peacock, and we're going to cut a tree out of that. And here's my pieces. So I've cut my tree, this image here. Okay, so I've got that cut. I've cut a fox. out of copper clay. So you just need a scrap. Out of wild wheat, you'll need two of these tops of the bows for the presents, and you need the star for the top of the tree. Okay, so we've got those pieces. And this is what that snowbank looks like, the small one, when you just cut it out. And that's why I didn't use that one. Okay. I've already put a couple of these together so that you can see, and you don't have to watch me put them all together. So I've got a present that I actually cut in white, and then I used the pool party, light pool party on the bow, and light Lost Lagoon on the package, and then Wink of Stella on the bow. We've got a piece of cherry cobbler, and from cherry cobbler you'll need to cut two of these ornaments in cherry cobbler, 2 ornaments in silver foil. Okay, then you need and then you also need the foxes. Where is that at? Oh, I hope it's on this one. Yes. You need the fox's scarf, and I cut that in cherry cobbler. So we've got that here. All right. I've got a bunch of those little ornaments now. And out of Pretty Peacock, you also need to cut a gift. And then I think that's pretty much all your pieces. Okay. So let's start with the tree and try not to lose my pieces. I'm going to get a hard surface here because my table has a pad that gives, and I don't want that to give. So to make this look a little snowy, I took my white pencil from, hang on guys, I got a dry spot. And I just made a mess. My white watercolor pencil, and I just went along the edges here with my watercolor pencil on the outside of the branches to make them look a little snowy. And I also did that on these pieces that will stick up. You can pop these pieces out. They don't come completely out, they're only partially cut to give the tree a little depth and to make those look like branches. So I put snow on them. Do not overthink this part. Just throw on some color. We're going to decorate it with our ornaments, so it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so now we've just got a little bit of snow on the branches of our trees. Okay, and then we can start adding our ornaments. Now the easiest way to add these teeny tiny ornaments is to take your fine tip glue bottle with some Tombow mono adhesive green glue. Okay, I'm going to start with my star actually, and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue at the top and stick my star on the top. Okay, And then I'm going to alternate my, I'm going to take your pick tool, go right here. I'm going to alternate between my red and my silver baubles. Okay, so I'm going to take and just going to go along here, put a dab of glue every now and again. Okay, and then I'll go back. I didn't get quite enough glue here. Remember that the green glue goes a long way. You don't really need a lot. And these little ornaments are so tiny. Take your pick tool here as your friend. Okay, and then I'll grab a silver one. And then I'm gonna grab another, well, I'm gonna put this red one here. And I'll put a silver one here. And I want another red one here. And another silver here. And I'm going to add some more glue. And I'm going to pick up some more of those teeny little ornaments. Okay. Need some more red ones, which I don't appear to have. Okay. Well, you get the picture. All right, so that's what you're going to do until you get enough ornaments on there. I already have one completed, so I'm not going to spend the time. And once I got all my ornaments on, this is the easiest way to do the Wink of Stella. Get your ornaments and your star on, and then go back with your Wink of Stella. And you really only need them on the red, of course, because, or the cherry cobbler, because the silver is already shiny. Okay? So through the magic of television, this is what our little tree looks like. Oh, there's a red ornament. And there's where my red ornaments are. Stuck to my other tree, apparently. Okay, I'll save those for another card. All right, so we've got that. And then I've got my fox, and I wanted to give him a little more depth. So I took my copper clay Stampin' Right marker. Okay, I've got copper clay here. These are the brand new markers, by the way, and I took the bullet tip and I just took and ran my marker around the ears there, darkened up his nose, went along his back, and I'm using that bullet tip. Okay. And then where the leg would come together, I made a little half circle thing. And I drew a line for between the feet there. Put a little bit on his feet so that it looks like he's got, you can tell his feet. And then this one you can do or not do. It really doesn't matter because you're going to cover most of it anyway with the scarf, so you can, let's just do that. And then I kind of drew some texture into his tail. Okay, So I've got that with the Stampin' Right marker. And then I can add my scarf. And I'm just going to do that with a little bit of glue right at the neck. And add this on. And I know this is a little bit tedious, you guys, but gosh, this card is so cute when you get it done. So now we've got our fox. We need to finish putting our present here together. So here's the base of our present. Here is our bow. Now this is supposed to hang or something, I don't know, but I didn't want it to hang, so I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to snip off that little hanger. Okay. And the easiest way I found to do this is to put just a tiny bit of glue on the box top here, on the package top. You don't need much. And then just the tiniest bit on the bow here. And now I've got it in my left hand. Good grief. Okay, let's turn it. And we'll add this right here, putting our ribbons right at the edge of the package bottom, and then everything lines up real nicely. And again, I'm going to take that Wink of Stella and drag it along the ribbons and the bow. For a little bit of shine. And I'm going to bring in my other packages. Okay. And we can put this together now. Oh, so this will bring back in our circles. And we're going to add this decorative circle to our stylish shape stitch circle in the cherry cobbler. Just like so. Then I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue again, run it down the center of my tree, and I'm not going to put it at the very top because the very top of my tree is going to stick over. And I'm going to set this about right here in the snowdrift, a little bit up. Like so. Okay, I'm going to put my fox on here. And I could pop this fox up, but I didn't. I'm just going to put him down with some liquid glue. Standing him in the on top of the snow here. Okay, then I'm going to take my my light pool party Stampin' Blend. I'm just going to go along the very top of that snowdrift. You could do that before you put these things down or after. Either way works. Just to give the snowdrift a little definition. Then I'm going to take my I'm going to start with my Lost Lagoon package here. Again, liquid glue is your friend here. Stick my package down here, my tree. I'm going to take my cherry cobbler package. Set that right next to my Lost Lagoon. And then I'm going to take a glue dot for my pretty peacock package. I'll raise it up just a tiny bit, but not too much. And I'm going to glue that right in the middle. Okay, and there is my scene. All right, so we can set this aside, and we are ready to add this to our card front. And now we're going to take this and pop this up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm sorry, I'm keeping you guys kind of late. All right, so we've got this, and we're just going to set this on here. And then I stamped the Peace on Earth and Pretty Peacock on basic white, and I hand cut this, okay? And I'm going to grab a couple of mini dimensionals. And add this sentiment right here. All right. Okay, so there is the front of our card. Now we need to get the festive pearls. And let's see what I did with those. Festive pearls. I'm going to take the cherry cobbler festive pearls, and I'm going to put 2 up here and 1 down here by the sentiment so that those jewels will draw your eye. Okay, and there is the front of our card. Now let's see, for the inside of my card, I took a sentiment from the Brightest Glow, which is also in the annual catalog. May the peace of the season light your world, and may your new year be the brightest. And I stamped that on basic white 3 5/8 by 4 7/8 in cherry cobbler. And then I cut out this reindeer in basic white, and I colored him with the Pecan Pie Light and Dark Stampin' Right blends and the Light Pebbled Path and Gray Granite. And for the ground down here, there is a stamp for that, and I stamped it in Pool Party. Okay, so that's for the inside of our card. And you can see I didn't like how I stamped it first, so I just turned it over and started again. And there's our card. And again, our envelope with the trees and snow. Okay, so let me get a few of these things out of our way. And we will bring back in the first card so that you can see that. And our second card with the Regal Reindeer bundle and the One Horse Open Sleigh paper. I do love this card. Love how it turned out. Okay. All right. So a reminder, bonus days, Paper Pumpkin, 48-hour sale, and the online exclusives, and it all starts tonight at 11:01 p.m. Pacific Time, 12:01 a.m. Mountain Time. All right, everybody. For those of you who are joining me on Saturday, I will see you then. For those of you who are not, I will see you back here next week. And I'm not sure what we'll be doing. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you soon. Good night.